Venkatesh. Chicken feed is a word that the English use very derisively. They may have to rethink that. Going by the performance of the Venky stock, 300% gain in 1 year. That means it's tripled and now stands at a tall 4,340. This year itself, the gain is 60%. That's year to date. Joining us now is B. Venkatesh Rao, the Managing Director of Venky's India. Thank you very much, Mr. Rao, for joining us. This is a scintillating performance. And I'm not looking at the stock. Even if I looked at the financials, you know, your EBITDA in the 9 months of the current year, that is the last year, FY18, is about 5% more than what you did in the whole of the previous year. And if you look at the net profit at 148 crores in the 9 months, it is about 20% more than what you did in the whole of the previous year. This is an extraordinary growth in profit and EBITDA. What's going right?
I think it's after a long time there was a glut, as I've been telling, and then it's after a long time there was a market opened up, and then all the which we were constructing, all the the individual companies come into production, basically the oil seeds and things like that. And now if you see, it was win-win situation, but again there's a little bit of overproduction, and you can see the rates coming down from the broiler sector. So it is a temporary thing, of course, but this is what is happening. But it is nothing very special, but I think everything has come to after the long time of 3-4 years, the market has opened up, and this is what it is. And basically all new products have been ventured into the market, especially the fast food different products, and basically your soybean plant coming in action and things like that.
Mr. Rao, in fact, we're very interested to know what the new products are and where the growth is coming in from. But before that, quickly, I wanted to get your thoughts in on poultry prices as well, because you spoke about, the excess supply, etc. Has that put a lot of pressure on prices, and is that something that we can expect in the quarters to come?
No, I think what has happened is, madam, again, there's a overproduction, a bit of overproduction last 1.5 months, and there's a little bit glut in the market. But though there's summer now, and the growth will be slow, so we'll compensate with the production. But eventually, I think for next 2 to 3-4 months before the festival season starts, I think it's going to look normal. And especially in the layer industry, if you're talking about eggs, still in the rural area, we have to develop a lot of market. As you see, the consumption is only 75% in the urban area. Rural area is to be developed still, because I think the infrastructure and things like that, if I go into the depth, it'll take a lot of time, but then that is the situation,
What's the split? How much comes from chicken? How much is animal health? How much is oil seeds? In terms of revenue?
Revenue, I think it's oil seeds. It's a mixed combination of 3 different parts, and if you go into the depth, I think it's 50-40. I think 50% should come from chicken, and 40% should come from other areas. Like soybean and things like that.
Okay. What is your volume growth in poultry, sir? I mean, you said the supply is now in place. So what was the volume growth in FY18, and what can you, guess for FY19?
The parameters are 10% in broiler and 12% in layer, I've been always talking. But the problem is here that even everybody looking at this expansion plan, including our brothers, collaborators, I mean the competitors and the small and the big farmers, the percentage goes anywhere between 20, 25, 30. This time in this last 6 months, it has been expansion of 35%. So we also keeping a benchmark, like if the industry can, which it is learning slowly, because it has understood that if you overproduce, you're not going to get anybody, and nobody is going to win-win, whether it's our competitor, whether it's small, big, we and anybody as such. So I think they are slowly trying to, I think they're understanding the situation, and that's how you see the change, but still a lot of things have to be coming in this line.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit more about your new products. You spoke about the soybean extract, fast food, you've had some nutritional health products as well. Tell us where the next growth trigger could come in from.
I think, well, in the poultry sector, if you say, still there's a lot of growth, especially in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and things like that, because as you know, chicken is accepted in all sectors basically, and being one of the most protein diet and things like that. And per capita, if you see per capita, if you I think the National Institute of Nutrition is recommending 180 eggs, where we are producing 66 eggs. So there's a still huge gap to fulfill in India. And meat, I think 450 grams or 550 grams, still 11 kilos of chicken. Sky's the limit, So I think only you have to concentrate on your production, you have to concentrate on your marketing, and rural areas basically build more godowns, midday meals from. We are already getting support from government for a long time, but more support is needed. Like Anganwadi schools in rural areas where we can give midday meals, where in Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Orissa, Jharkhand, we are getting the help, but other states, if it can come, then the rural consumption becomes better, the child nutrition becomes better, and and things like that. And so it's a big task ahead.
Okay. What's the share of B2B for you?
In what way? Can you please come
No,
in
no, I
detail?
mean poultry, for instance. I don't know, do you supply to something like a KFC? And even government, you said. So B2B and B2, no, the retail consumer outlets.
Government don't supply, but government helps us to give some concessions, basically to Anganwadis and government schools and things like that, where it is beneficial win-win situation for the National Aid Coordination Committee, which is some kind of a price interference institute like in India to benefit the small farmers or big farmers. But coming back to the situation, what you said is that how much is the percentage? Pardon me, I went off the track again.
Okay. All right. No, never mind. I just want to know how much comes from business to business, how much comes from business to consumer. But I mean, the reason why I asked you was, has GST helped you? Would more of these big businesses prefer sourcing from you?
GST in a way is stabilizing you because you don't have the small taxes, sales tax, this tax, that tax. It is made a package, I think, and it's a mixture of
Benefited you?
Sorry.
Has it benefited you?
I think so, because then one tax and
Sure.
it is yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
before we run out of time, just wanted to get in a word on the capacity expansion. You've spent about 100 crores to expand your oilseed plant and the egg plant. Tell us, did you take on any debt for that expansion, and what kind of revenue growth do you see now?
Revenue after the market collapse, not collapsing is the wrong word, but coming down a little bit and again stabilizing, and I'm sure it's going to do again comeback situation. I think the expansion, what we have done through most of the internal sources only, I think, and I think that's not going to affect anything. But the results will talk before I talk, and I think it should be a win-win situation for all the shareholders. In short,
Will FY19 be as good as FY18?
very difficult. Livestock productions, rain.
Okay. Well, we will know about the rain shortly. We are told the IMD will give us a forecast. Okay, you're underplaying it, but it's a great performance in FY18 itself. Mr. Venkatesh Rao, thank you very much for joining us with your views today. That's Venky's given a great return to shareholders as well this year that was. Quickly on the markets, there isn't anything very fresh to report, except that the Nifty Bank, after showing a great deal of promise, is now a little bit.
Let's connect.
Yadav, we leave it at that. Thanks for joining us and giving us an update on the quarter's numbers as well as the outlook. But we move across to the next company which announced its earnings yesterday is Venky's India, which registered a 66% jump in its December quarter profit. What are the key highlights here, and what are the top contributors to the bottom line? Let's ask the management. Joining us now on the show is Managing Director B. Venkatesh Rao. Mr. Rao, once again, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Let's start off with the factors that you attribute to the strength in this particular quarter, and whether or not you can expect the strength to move on as we move on to over the next few quarters as well.
We can sustain the growth and steady increase because what has happened is we have expanded in soya extraction plant. There's a new plant which is coming in Ahmednagar area, investment of 44 CR, I think. And then additional to that, we are having a vegetable oil refinery putting up in Ahmednagar area. Again, we are expanding on the SPFX. New unit is coming in Patna village and Satara, Maharashtra. So that is an investment of 60 CR. And of course, the realization for one-day-old chicks, broiler birds, and hatching eggs have really improved the realization. And of course, for this quarter, the interest rates have come down because of the payments. It was, I think, last quarter 20 CR, and it is 14, I think. So there's a difference, and then the realization automatically goes up. So all these factors put together, it is looking to be, on the upper side.
Okay, and expansion plans in oil seeds and specific pathogen-free eggs businesses, sir. Can you tell us a little more about that as well? Because it's there in your press release that in total you are putting in about 100 crores there.
We are putting up a new unit for pathogen-free eggs in Bor Taluka. Additionally, I think it's 60 CR investment which we are doing, which will of course enhance the supply for SPFX, which is growing in the market, and especially for the vaccines for human and etc. for chicken and human. And this oil seed business also is growing, so we're putting up a new plant. We're having a vegetable refinery oil coming up in Ahmednagar area. So that's another win-win situation, as I repeatedly said again. And of course, all these three products, which are realization is very good, and that's why this it is looking very, very positive. So this is what it is like.
How are you anticipating the change that one has seen in terms of poultry prices over the next couple of quarters?
The poultry industry looks to be good, going through smooth time, and the future looks good till April, because then the rains will tell you the story, whether they're good or bad, because again it depends on the crops. And of course, the policies of the government have been very smooth and helping midday meals or whatever. But I think it totally depends on the crops, and then of course the expansion 10%, which I've been shouting for the industry. The norm is 10% and 11% of the broiler industry. So it depends totally how this farmers are going to react to the expansion, seeing some money. So it totally depends on the industry also and the farmers also.
Okay, Mr. Rao, thanks for joining us and giving us an update on the quarter's numbers. We'll move on and address what is actually the big theme for this particular quarter.
Maize prices. Give us a sense as to whether these prices are still low, and will we, in light of this, see your margins continue to expand?
I think the soya maize is doing okay, and in between, I think the soya had gone up suddenly for over trading or whatever reasons, but it's come back again, touch wood. But I think in fact, Venky is putting up a soybean extraction plant also, so that the in-house supply will be better, and the commercial farmers will be benefiting out of it. But the crop as such is good, and till May or June, till the rains touch wood, I think everything looks to be the smooth sailing for the industry, particularly industry and Venky's also.
How has the packaged product side of the business contributed to your overall financials, revenues and margins?
I think that because you see day-old chicks, you see hatching eggs, or you see broiler birds. And of course, this quarter, the interest rates have been a little low because the of course, the repayments have gone down naturally because of the realization also. And last quarterly, if you see last year, it was, I think, 6 CR or 7 CR. This time it was lesser. So it again automatically adds to your profitability. And of course, don't realization of the products and the quality, and then this, and then expansion plans. I think everything is putting up win-win.
Okay, sounding fairly promising, Mr. Rao. But I remember the last time that we spoke, there's something you were not very optimistic about, and that was on poultry prices. Give us a sense as to how that is shaping up now. Has there been a further decline? Are you seeing supply increasing?
I think this year it looks it looks stable because the production is quite okay according to the requirement of the market. But if the farmers are going to see some money, and I expect that next year they're going to expand, and then they might overproduce. The request is that layers they should only the benchmark is 10%, broilers is 12%. So if they can stick on to that expansion plan, and the crops are good, and then naturally the realization also will go good. So this is my humble request: the production should be in limit, and automatically you'll see things falling in line. Of course, rain, and then the crops, maize and soya, 75% of is to the feed, they add basically. So everything depends on totally on the expansion, and the people don't jump suddenly seeing some good profits.
Okay, let's delve a little bit into the financials as well, Mr. Rao. There has been a significant rise in your other expenses and in your employee expenses, almost about 15 to 20% each. So what exactly is the reason for this, and how does this impact your overall costs?
Overall cost, it won't impact me so much, but naturally if you're going in different lines like the pet food, or the other products also which we are trying to expand in, then we are going in animal health products, we are having various new products coming in. So naturally there will be more recruitment of new manpower, but overall I don't think so there's going to be a significant, I don't think so that much percentage will be affecting on recruitment or on overall impact of the financial burden.
Okay. Now, in your expansion, you also announced. Can you tell us what is the additional capacity of SPF eggs being cut up and being given, and what is the solvent extraction capacity being put up at Nuwasa?
The solvent extraction plant we're putting up in Ahmednagar, which is I think one of the new technology new plant. Then there is a vegetable oil refinery which is coming up at Ahmednagar. The total investment should be about 45 to 50 crores. And then we have got the SPF expansion at Patan at Satara Taluka in Maharashtra, which is about 60 crores. So naturally, the expansion plans are well in target, and I think it looks very promising. But again, it depends on how the expansion plans are. I'm sorry, I'm going on that again and again.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. But I'm sure your shareholders and a lot of investors would also be keen to know what are your expansion plans, and are you on track to lower your overall debt levels?
Of course, naturally, when you're adding new products and expanding your core business, and seeing that the realization is improving and improving on different tactics and technologically also, so the shareholder should be more and more confident about the quality, and the services also count, the manpower also counts. So I'm very pretty sure that we are going on a positive way, and of course the future is looking bright, but it totally depends how it is going to expand. So what your question is, I think I've answered that.